All right, so let's start off with our session 14 on project management professional training. And this session, we are going to cover a couple of practice questions on cost and schedule. So we have came a long way, right? We have gone through the complete initiation phase of the project process group. We have seen about the business case, the project charter, and a bit about the stakeholder management. And then we started off with the scope. And followed by the scheduling piece. We have seen the way the scheduling is done, the complete network diagrams and the floats, and followed by the critical path. And finally, we have seen about cost as well. How do we calculate cost based on the schedule, right? If you know the schedule well, which basically means if you know the scope well, the schedule has to be known well, because uh, the ultimate thing of the project is scope in a waterfall method. So if you know the scope very well, the scope is crystal clear, it will be easy for you to decompose that scope into a work breakdown structure and develop that into a schedule. And if you know the schedule well, then it will be pretty easy for you to find out the number of man hours needed for each of the activities, and then you can base out your cost on that. Now, if you know your cost and schedule both on the project, then at any point standing in the project, while the project is in execution mode, you can say, what is the CPI? What is the SPI? And you can find out the health of the project in true numbers. Is the project ahead of schedule, behind the schedule, or on schedule? Or is the project kind of costing more or costing less as per the planned budget, or it's just costing the same as we planned in the original budget? Now, when we talk about cost, schedule, and of course the scope thing, then that's a major part of the PMP exam. If you have understood scope, cost, and schedule, or scope, time, cost, these three constraints pretty well, along with the mathematics of it, trust me, you have covered almost like 50% of the exam. Okay. And then we have got a little bit of, I will say, easier topics, if I can say that. Some topics are like pretty easy to consume after this, like things like quality, or things like communication, HR stuff. These all will be pretty simple for you once you know the bigger crux of the picture. and and then you will see the rest of the planning stage will be pretty simple and straightforward. So before I get into the remaining of the planning stages, and starting with quality and communication and so on, I would like to take you through some examples, some mathematics, some questions which are very much like similar to exams. These are the questions which you get on the exams. And then be very thorough on them. The more you are thorough on the mathematical questions, the easier for you to have a quick uh, uh, you know uh, catch of the absolute marks on this question, and also to save time, because when it comes to mathematics, you don't have to really do any guesswork or find out the best answer among two, because you just solve the question, you find the answer, and you put a check mark on the answer which is amongst all the four options, right? So more practice will make you pretty fast and rapid, but before getting too fast, always know that do a couple of them, like 10, 20 questions, slow and medium rate. And once you get the gist of it, then be on the speed mode, then do them pretty fast. Okay. So this one, I don't really have much PowerPoint slides and decks to show you. I'm going to solve two or three questions here in front of you, and just try to show you how it works, and how to solve them or how to crack them when the exam comes. Okay, so let me share my desktop here, or rather the notepad here. So here it is. I've got three questions which I've just typed in, and these are the basic ones, and trust me, the basic ones are the ones which are going to come in the exam will not give you too much of pretty lengthy complicated questions with a lot of mathematical formulas and all that stuff. Exam will either give you simple straightforward questions or some graphs, but also know that the questions will be having some noise in them. Noise means you will be seeing some unwanted data on the questions. Okay. Now, these questions are all about the four basic things which we have gone through in the modules of cost, and they are about schedule variance, cost variance, schedule performance index, and cost performance index. So before jumping into the questions, let me just quickly tell you what these four formulas are, and they are very simple. So we have got something called, let me just type in the formulas for it to remember. In the exam, you're going to get a calculator, which means that there will be a soft calculator on the screen, which you can definitely use. So don't worry about the calculation piece, but always worry about how you are going to segregate the data and put them on the calculation mode, right? So formula wise, we have got four uh, basic formula based kind of metrics which normally comes in the questions, and they are: number one is schedule variance, number two is cost variance, uh, then we have got schedule performance index, and we have got cost performance index. That's all. Okay, if you remember these four in the back of your hand, trust me, you have conquered a lot. But do not rely on your mindset that I know these formulas, I have done maybe four or five of them, and then I will go to exam and crack it. So PMP exam is not about you cracking the answer in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. It's about cracking the answer probably in 30 seconds or 15 seconds. That's how it is. So practice them as much as possible, and the practicing can only be done through the mock questions on different websites, or you can directly purchase kind of a hard copy book with you. It probably can be Rita or anybody else, and practice all the questions at the end of each chapter. The more you practice, the faster the speed you develop, because PMP exam is more about speed combined with accuracy. So schedule variance, the formula is very simple. And what is that? We know earned value minus planned value. Okay. And cost variance is same story, earned value minus actual cost. So remember, both those things are having EV in the beginning. If you know that EV is on the left hand side, then you know EV minus PV, and the cost is EV minus AC. Okay. Now SPI is more simple. If you know the first part, like SV is equal to EV minus PV, then SPI is just EV divided by PV. Okay. Now CPI, I think you know it by now. It is just EV divided by AC. So the whatever we said, like subtracting in the beginning, like cost variance is EV minus AC, then cost performance index, the formula is EV by AC. So one is subtraction and one is division. Okay, very simple. Just remember EV always comes in the beginning, and one part you minus out the planned value, and one part you minus out the actual cost. Again, for SPI, it's EV by PV, and CPI, it's EV by AC. Okay. Now with this three or this four in the back of the mind, let's try to solve this question. So question one, let me just try to solve them. If earned value is 400, actual cost 500, and planned value is 350, then what is cost variance? Okay, so it's telling earned value is 400, all right. Actual cost, it's telling you 500, and planned value, it's telling you 350, right? So what is the cost variance? Now CV is equal to what? CV is equal to EV minus AC. Okay. Have we got the EV here? Yes, we got the EV here. And have we got the AC here? Of course, we got the AC here. Then what is this PV doing here? Like I said, the exam will be giving you this kind of noise in the questions. The question will be a pretty long question, maybe a big story. A user goes to market and buys some stuff, and earned value is this, blah, 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 or the PM is doing a project and the actual cost is this, and all that story will be given. You have to just pick out the data there, and you will also find some noise there to confuse you. It will unnecessarily give you some values which you don't need in the calculation, just to test out, do you actually know the stuff? If you don't know, then you are either going to think too much and lose your time, or you are going to do an incorrect calculation here. Okay, so straightcut way is that write down what you have got in the question, like what I did in front of you right now, EV, AC, and the PV, and then write down the formula as well. Probably in the exam you don't have to write down the formula, because by that time you are so efficient in knowing that you will be directly doing the subtraction, right? So EV minus AC, which means that EV is what, 400 here, and AC is what, 500 here, right? And that means that your answer is minus 100, right? The cost variance is negative, which is not good, which means that you are over budget. You're spending more than you planned in the budget. Definitely not good. Anything negative in the cost variance and in the schedule variance is always bad. Okay, anything positive is always good. Remember that. So that's a plain and simple answer of CV. Okay, but do not try to do it too fast also, like you are doing the simple and plain mistake of getting straight marks in this question. Write it down, do it quickly, but don't be too slow or too fast. Um, at the end, the last 1 month, okay, prior to the exam, I would like you to put a timer in front of you and practice the mock questions, probably 2 hour question, 3 hour question with a timer in front of you. And in that, you see how much clock time you're taking uh, to complete that question paper. That will really test your grit, will really test your speed and your accuracy. Okay, so easy one, right? Now let's come down to question two. Let's see what question two is asking. Question two is telling, uh, what is SPI if CV is 20,000 USD, SV or schedule variance is minus 5,000 USD, and planned value is 2 lakh USD. So it's telling me what is SPI. SPI, if it's asking you to find out, very simple. SPI, the formula is EV divided by PV, right? Now let's see. Do we have got the EV here? No, we don't have the EV. Do we have got the PV here? Yes, we have got the PV. So let's find out what we have got here. We have got the CV. CV is equal to 20,000 USD. Okay. SV is given, which is minus 5,000 USD, and then PV is given 2 lakh USD. Okay, so we have got the PV from the equation is right there, which is 2 lakh, but we don't have the EV. Now, how do I find out the EV? Look at the other piece of the puzzle and try to just connect the dots here. So we know that like we have got the SV and the PV here. So from here, can we find out the EV? So SV is equal to, remember, EV minus PV. So in that way, we can find out the EV piece. If I write down SV equals to EV minus PV. Okay, and here we are trying to find out EV. We have got the SV in front of us, and we also have got the PV in front of us. So I can write it down like this, that EV rather is equal to SV, okay, plus PV, right? Okay, now I'm just adding. SV is minus 5,000 USD and PV is plus 2 lakh. Okay, so again, that comes down to 2 lakh minus 5,000, that is 1 lakh 95,000. That is our USD. That is the earned value. Okay, now once I have got this earned value, and if I place this here and the PV we have got, then definitely we are going to get the SPI, right? So SPI now will be, we know SPI is equal to EV divided by PV. That basically means EV is 1,95,000 and PV is equal to 2 lakh. Okay, that basically means that we can find it out. 1,95,000 divided by 2 lakh. And that is coming down to 0.975. You can say 0.98, 0.98. Okay, so the calculator will be given in the exam, so don't bother about that. You just have to get till this particular crux. From there where you can pick up the calculator, but till this point you have to be absolutely clear. Okay, this question is again very simple, straightforward, but the metrics which are given in the question, the known ones, they are not straightforward. From there, like from one of the puzzle, you have to get one of the knowns and put that in the formula to get the final absolute SPI. Okay, now SPI 0.98 schedule performance index, is it kind of good or bad? Less than 1, right? Which is not good. Okay. Anything one means on schedule, anything more than one is better, but less than one is not good, right? We are like 98% of the schedule, but definitely not 100%. Okay. But this is how the SPI is calculated. So I hope it's very like it's very very clear, right? The first one was like where everything was given with a little bit of noise, like your planned value was not needed. The second one is yes, you need the SPI, but you don't have the variable like EV. Now EV you have to find out from the second or third options, like you have got your SV and the PV from this both. You have to find out the EV and then put the EV there and you get the SPI. Okay. So that's about the second kind of the question which you get in the exam. Mind you, these are the kind of the questions which you get in the exam. Definitely not in such a simple and straightforward like one liner. You will be getting a little bit of story there, but always try to write down the variables from the story into a piece of paper. Do a mental calculation and you will see that you will not take more than 15 to 20 seconds to solve the problem. Okay. And the more time you save on the mathematical piece of the problem, trust me, it's more easy for you to pass the exam because you will be getting a lot of time to put your effort into the difficult questions, to crack those questions which looks like pretty much deep thinking, especially the questions which will be coming on change management, which is an absolutely pretty, I will say, not a tough topic, but it's a good topic which one needs to go through once, twice, thrice, four times to get the complete grasp of it. And then those kind of the questions will really need your focus a little bit more. And these questions, if you save time, you can gain more time to spend that 20 seconds more or half a minute more on those questions, and that way your passing becomes pretty easy. So when I passed my PMP exam and when I clicked on the last question, the final question, I remember I had only 2 seconds for the exam to go over. Like I clicked on the last question and I had 2 seconds to go. The clock was like ticking on the top. And trust me, I was not very good in solving the last 5 or 6 questions. I had to rush through them. And I was just telling my mind that only if I had saved a little bit of more time, a minute more in the past questions. So forget about doing a double check or something that you can never do. Okay. Some people say if it's a tough question, you place it on review and all that. I mean, that's something I will discuss to you in a complete full blown session on how to crack the exam, the exam hall kind of the strategy which you should be taking. But trust me, you really don't get time to do a double check or do a review on a question and all that. I mean, you just kind of rush through the time and you finish. So the first time when you're clicking on multiple choice, ensure that is the final answer. You don't have to double check on that. Okay. So in my case, I clicked on the submit and I saw that, just 2 seconds was left. So if I would have missed that last question by 2 seconds, I would have missed that last question. And every question counts here because your passing score is very high, right? I mean, nobody knows the exact passing score in PMP. If somebody says 65, somebody says 70 and all that stuff, but really the passing score is high because so less number of candidates are passing. So in that case, the more time you save, the more you are giving yourself more probability to crack more questions, right? And fortunately, there is no negative marking on the exam. Okay, coming down to question three. Question three is about, it's telling us, let's see, it's telling us in continuation to question two, find AC and CPI. So now from the question, two, we have got the SPI. Okay. Now it tells us that find the AC and the CPI. So how do I find the AC? Let's see. Um, if I want to get into the formula mode, then I know that CV, cost variance, is equal to earned value minus AC. Or rather, I can write AC is equal to uh, EV minus CV. Simple, right? I'm just putting the AC on the left-hand side of the equation and EV minus CV. It's all simple stuff, your plain childhood equation kind of story, right? So if I put it EV minus CV, then let's see what I've got. Have I got the EV here? Oh, yes, I've got the EV. Have I got the CV here? I've got the CV here as well, right? So this will be simple because I knew the formula and I see the variables are all there. So EV is 195,000 minus CV, that is 20,000, right? 20,000. So we can do a quick calculation here. 195,000 minus 20,000, 175,000. That's your AC, right? That is your USD actual cost, which you have spent on the project, right? Now we have to find out AC we have found out, and then CPI. So let's see CPI. CPI, the formula is if I know CV, I will also know the CPI. So CV is EV minus AC. CPI will be EV divided by AC, right? Simple. So remember this part. If you know this, you will also know the CPI piece, right? So EV divided by AC, and that is how much? EV is 175,000, okay, divided by AC. Sorry, that is AC, right? I'm sorry for this. So EV is 195,000. Sorry, I just missed that. And divided by AC, that is 175,000. So that is your EV by AC. EV is right here, which is 195,000, and your AC is right here, which is 175,000. Okay, so which is 195 divided by 175. So let's go through that. 195 divided by 175, and that is 1.11. So 1.11. Is it good or bad? I will say it's pretty good. Anything more than one is always good for a CPI or SPI, which means that we are earning $1.11 for every dollar we are investing in the project. Okay, that's very good cost performance index. That's a very good number. Okay, now the other way, which probably I will show you when we do a full-blown mock test, kind of questions, where the other kind of like questions which you may see on the exam is a graph. You may see the graph like the CPI and the SPI, and you may see how the numbers are fluctuating or they are going upward or downward. And based on that, you have to tell or answer the question like, how is the project doing currently? Or how did the project did uh, 3 months ago and all that stuff, you know? And you have to know like if the graph is going down for CPI or it's below one or something and it's above one or something, then what does it mean? Okay, so always know the thumb rule is that positive for CPI or SPI means good, and below one is always bad. Okay, so with that, we came to the end of the three questions. Like I said, I just wanted to give you a rough sketch of how the questions can come in the exam and how your way of thinking should be. Write down or jot down the variables. Number one, know the formulas very well, and formulas cannot be known by just memorizing them. If you use them 1 to 10 times, then definitely they will be like in the back of your hand. You don't have to really think about, hey, what was that CV, what was that SV, right? If you remember at least one of them, SV is equal to EV minus PV, then you know the rest of it. Then CV is EV minus AC, and you know the formulas of SPI and the CPI, the like EV by PV and EV by AC, right? So once you have practiced well, come into this kind of the frame of your mind that sometimes the questions will be very easy, but they may be giving a little bit of more noise. Sometimes the question will be a continuation of the previous one where you found a value, and that value will be helpful in the next question, and so on. And at times, what PMI will also do, what I've seen, uh, they will give you the wrong answer also in the multiple choice. And I will tell you how they do it. So what they will do, let's say, um, this question. Okay, SPI. Now SPI, the candidate who has not practiced well, just memorize the formula, they may forget the formula. They will think SPI was EV by PV or PV by EV. If they remember the wrong one, like they think in their mind at that point of time it's PV by EV, and they calculate like 2 lakh by 195,000, which is, let's say, 2 lakh by 195,000, then the answer is 1.02. Okay. And in the multiple choice, one of the answers will be 1.02. And it will also say that 1.02, the project is going very well. We are going ahead with the schedule, or going ahead on the schedule. So uh, the wrong answer will also be given on the multiple choice. And since you solved the mathematical like question in the incorrect way, and you found the wrong answer, but if you find that answer a part of the multiple choice, your brain will think, hey, this is the right answer, right? Because how come a wrong incorrect answer will be given in the multiple choice? So people normally do that. People who have not practiced well, or they forgot the formulas, they will find out the opposite of the formula, they will find out the answer, and even that answer will be a part of the multiple choice. I have seen those kind of questions, like the correct answer is let's say 2 by 1, the answer is 2. But if people try it out like 1 by 2, where the answer is zero point 0.5, even zero point 0.5 is the part of the answers. Okay. So be very careful. Like PMI is conducting these exams for a very long time. They kind of know that where exactly a candidate can slip or can do wrong, or they can do a mistake, and they knowingly give that incorrect answer also on the multiple choice. So you may go completely wrong, but you may be smiling in your mind thinking that, hey, I found the answer with some calculation. That's the correct 1.02 check mark. Let's go to the next one. But you will never know that you actually clicked on the wrong answer. Okay. So these are the small pitfalls, and they all can be crossed and overcome and smoothened out by only doing one thing, and that is practice, practice, and practice. The more mathematical questions you practice, the more you put it in your belt, and you become swerve into that. Trust me, these things will be easy, and you probably will be waiting hungrily on the exam screen that when is the mathematical question coming. Unfortunately, you may not be getting too many mathematical questions on the exam, like formula based questions. Probably I will say 10, and not more than that. Few questions on CV, SV, SPI, and CPI. Few graphical questions might be there, and also you may find one or two questions on communication. So we are also going to use some formulas on communication channels and so on and so forth, and those questions also I will show you when the topic comes in. All right, so with that we came to the end of the session. Thank you for watching this series, and we will meet up again in the next session, and our topic will be quality. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day and a great time.